Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. All right, so look, for those of you who don't know, my name's David Scott, and I'm a psychic medium. I've started doing predictions, and that seems to have gotten really popular. Well, with most people watching him anyway. Some people don't like him, but anyway, can't please everybody. But yeah, I do readings, and I also read the energies around. So I read them individually for people who I do readings for, and I try and tap into the group of people who are watching these videos. All right, so I felt it was particularly important to do this one because, well, I normally like to try and get these done, or at least try and do a reading like this every week. Sometimes I don't, and I normally try and do it on a Sunday, so I'm a day late with this one. But I did feel it was particularly important because I felt, well, with this year, with the solstice was on Saturday. So for some of you watching this, it was the summer solstice. And for some of us, like myself, it was the winter solstice. So the shortest day of the year. I did feel it was particularly important energetically. So I actually feel it was the end of a cycle, and now we're in the beginning of a new one. So what I've actually felt, particularly for a lot of us, I think a lot of us are carrying at least one particular issue in our heart that's really it's really at the forefront. So for some of us it's love, for some of us it's career, it could be anything. But I feel as though, especially with the first half of this year, that might have been a bit of a struggle. So we might have just been hitting brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. And that's just the way the energies have been going for a lot of us. I do feel as though right now, I guess the term a lot of people use is the veil has been lifted. So there's to put it into as plainer English as I can, although that's not really good English anyway, to put it in as plainer terms as possible, I guess the walls between different realities is a lot thinner, so it's easier to jump into different realities. We do that by raising our vibration, or you could intentionally do it by lowering your vibration, which generally isn't that good. But I do feel now is the time to try and raise your vibration as much as possible. Meditation's a great way of doing it. I've said that in a lot of my videos, or just doing things that bring you into the moment, like a good walk in nature or along the beach or something like that. Okay, something nice and healing, something that puts you in the present moment, because while you're in the present moment, you're not focusing on the past. So you're not focusing on those things that have been traumatic in your life, and you're not focusing on the future. So you're not worrying about what's going to happen, and easy to do at the moment, especially if you're watching the news or reading the news. But just try and stay in the present moment as much as possible. And when you're doing that, try and do those things that bring as much joy in your life too. I'm not saying things will magically happen, but certainly your vibration will lift and things will start to get a little easier, just as a general rule. Okay, now along with the high vibration, I do feel as though we're actually coming into a new wave of awakening. So there could even be some of you watching this right now who might be a little interested in the spiritual side of things. You may actually find that interest increasing. You may also find your intuition will be a lot more, what's the best word for it? Your intuition might be a lot more on point. You just may intuitively know things. Now I bill myself as a psychic medium. I actually believe that everybody is to some extent, and it is something that can be developed. Okay, so for those of you who might be watching this saying, I'm not psychic, well, you know what, you might actually be. It's just something that you develop, and I believe it's pretty much no different to being able to see, smell, touch, hear, and that sort of thing. I believe it's just another sense that we can develop. All right, and I believe a lot of people will be developing that and discovering the spiritual side of things. So there's another awakening, or another, I guess you could say, mass awakening happening, where a lot of people will become interested in this, and we'll see a lot more interest. Okay, so let's see, what else was there? Now, you don't need a psychic to tell you this. There's obviously a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of upheavals and things like that. When I do think about that, maybe those of you who know more about astrology might be able to make a comment in the basically in the comment section of this video. I just keep getting the feeling of Mars coming through, and I know a little bit about Mars. I think in antiquity it was a god of war, or the planet of war, or something. I'm not too sure, but that planet just keeps coming into mind. So there's something there with Mars at the moment. I don't know what it is, but those who know astrology might know what it is and might be able to explain it. Now, also, when I was getting that message about the awakening, the mass awakening, I felt that was very much, I just kept seeing the sun, and the sun sort of becoming a lot stronger and a lot brighter. Now, I don't think that's physically going to happen, but I do feel as though there's some energy coming through from the sun. So it's definitely an awakening, and a very high vibration feel about it. Okay, so now's a good time to really get into the present moment, as I was saying before. Okay. All right, so the other thing I was going to bring up as well, and I guess it's a little bit of a prediction too. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here, I'm not going to claim this prediction. Although I did get it, I do know another psychic has predicted it. And that's Craig Hamilton Parker. If you can find him on YouTube, he's actually pretty good. So now he's actually predicted that at some stage Donald Trump would have an awakening in himself, and I feel that's actually coming fairly close. So, but like I said, I did sort of get that when I was meditating just before, but yeah, not my prediction. It's somebody else's. But I feel as I'm getting more of a time frame with that, so I feel like that's happening this year, latter half of this year. So you might start to hear a lot more rhetoric about God and things like that from him. So we'll see what happens. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's it's all part of the fun of doing these videos, I guess. And also, with any of my predictions that are right, I hope that but they're done in a good spirit, I guess. All right, so look, I'm going to leave it at that. It was a very, very short reading. For some reason, I feel like pulling out a card. I don't normally do these for my energy readings anymore. Although you can still see some of them where I do an energy reading with the cards. All right, I pulled out the Seven of Pentacles. All right, so for me, that's a feeling of normally pentacles are associated with abundance. I'm actually getting more of a feeling of connection with nature. So yeah, I just feel for those of you who might be, all right, yeah, for those of you who are feeling a bit depleted at the moment, a bit lack of energy, things like that, wherever possible, get yourself out in nature. If there's get yourself out into the forest or something like that. Just take in the scenery, being in the present moment. All right, and I feel like that's going to be rejuvenating, and that will also help to lift your vibration as well. So that's the message I was getting from that card. Like I said, I don't normally tend to go to those for the energy readings anymore, but felt like I wanted to. All right, so I'll leave it at that. Now, if you do want a reading, or if you're interested in any psychic art, feel free to jump onto my website. So that's newearthspiritual.com. Feel free to drop a message. I am getting a few inquiries at the moment, so please be patient with me. I will answer you. But yeah, a little bit of patience would be great. All right, so I'll leave it at that. And I really hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you get something out of it. All right. All the best, everyone. Have a great evening.